We ain't perfect. It's gonna happen. I might stumble every now and again. Well, I'm gonna stumble every now and again. You know what I'm saying? Go check it out, man. We got. What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all tapping in. Welcome to the garden. This here is a space where we will talk about and discuss, and I'll break down some of the meanings, the spiritual meanings behind the different projects that we put out here at OSP. I try to make a lot of the work relevant to things that people really have going on, everyday type of life, but at the same time, wanting to be able to put a good story in there. There's always some deeper meanings behind everything that I'm putting out, and the artist side, I guess you can say, just kind of want to just put it out there, and if they catch it, they catch it, But I think the things that are, that I'm trying to get across here, they have a certain level of importance, and I don't want it to be, misconstrued in any way when it comes to certain topics. So we won't touch on everything, but we'll definitely touch on a lot of the main stuff. Hopefully it'll cause for some good discussions too. Maybe I'll start catching things a little bit differently as you start to see like the way that I write or the way that I create these different projects. What's going on, y'all? I appreciate y'all for coming back, checking me out here in the garden, where we'll be breaking down another part of the original film. So if you haven't seen The Garden, the short film, it's like a 4-minute short film on our channel, go check that out, because this is all spoiler stuff. You gotta check. You ain't gonna know what we're talking about. You gotta watch the movie first. Okay, it's not that long. Check out the movie. Come back, check this out. You see where we're getting at with this type of talk. All right. And we've had some previous episodes of this. It didn't look like this. Some of it was just like voiceover type of work, and some of it was a little bit different here. But we're trying out something a little different here with this setup. But I do want to finish the topics that we were on. Everything in that first film with the garden didn't get finished talking about. We got to touch on these topics right quick. So not going to keep you long. Let's tap in. There was a certain part in there. So we had talked about like the vision and how everything was looking through the character's eyes, right? That was the camera angle that was being used. And not too much further into the film. Maybe I'll put a little clip there. Maybe I won't. We'll see. There was something specific that happened, and it was very intentional. So with this topic here, we're talking about the things of this world that tempt you on the daily in darkness. And again, a lot of this stems from that same verse in Matthew that we've been talking about with the son, where he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and how he was in the wilderness and he was being tempted. And so for us, I'm calling that the stumble. And if you look in that film, when the character that I play is running away, he stumbles, right? And there's a couple of different things, small things that we'll get into right quick about it. The lack of vision can cause you to stumble, right? And so if you look back at some of the things that we were talking about before, when it talks about like vision and, making sure we know what our vision is, we need to have that so that we can make sure that we don't stumble, right? And what is stumbling in this regard? Stumbling in this regard is saying yes to the flesh, right? Like that's what we're talking about. That's what we're getting after. And also whatever the enemy uses to trip you up. I look at it like if you're playing a game of chess, you feel me? Like he kind of know, he has an idea of what you're gunning for next, what you're trying to do. If you look at it in terms of sports, like to a certain degree, like he's scouting you. He knows your playbook, right? And in that example, we know this because it showed that he knew the word. So if that's something that we're tapping into, we're supposed to tap into every day. In these instances, he knew the word, right? And so this is a reminder that the enemy is scouting you personally, right? Like that's how I look at it for myself. And that's something you'll see that I kind of, with this whole, I'm no preacher, right? This is things that I'm working through, or I have worked through, or, how I was able to kind of express it, right? So I'm understanding that the enemy is always trying to work against me. And that there's plenty of temptation out there, and there's always going to be certain things he's going to want to dangle in front of you. And we just have to know our playbook better. We have to know our word better. That's what I look at the challenge being, right? Like he's going to come, and it's that spiritual warfare. I don't think really people, I don't want to say that. This is spiritual warfare. No, this is spiritual warfare. Like spiritual warfare is real. You know what I mean? And it's not always something you can see. Probably more often times it's not. It's something you can't see. But that is something that I have to be cautious of, and that's something that I like to show in my work, is that it is spiritual warfare. There is, certain things that's going on that is not just so clear and day in front of us. We got just to be aware of that. There was one question that I got heavily on this project, understandably, but it was done this way to create the question, so it worked. What is chasing the main character? The answer to that is that it is personalized for everyone. In one season of life, the thing that's chasing you, trying to get to you to stumble, might not be the same thing that's chasing someone else. It might not be the same thing that's chasing me. It might not be the same person that's chasing, a friend or, X, Y, and Z. Especially, we might not be being chased by that at the same time, but at some point in life, I feel like a lot of times it can overlap. And that's why it's good to get counsel from different people and stuff like that. It's always good to pick up little nuggets. You gotta have the people around you in your ear. I think that's always a really good look. Of course, like the right people, the right conversations being had. But there are clear decisions to be made if you're going to go back to whatever's chasing you, or if you're going to run towards the Father. That is the biggest thing that I'm trying to get across in that piece of the work, and that piece of the film, is that it's always going to be something chasing you, and you might not know what's coming up next that's going to be chasing you. There's certain things that are, a little more obvious to me, so like this is chasing me at this point, or I'm battling with this, or this keeps getting put in front of me, and I know that I just need to run towards the Father during this time. Like that to me becomes the answer. It's in His Word. It's in Him. It's in that prayer and fasting. It is in, what I'm saying, those type of things right there. But once you stumble a little too much, or you stumble, you don't get back up, now you jammed up with whatever that thing is that's chasing you and has been chasing you. And that's just something that we're trying to avoid, In this story, in Matthew, the son in the garden, he's being tempted to stumble and tempted to say yes when he shouldn't, right? And mind you, he has been fasting at this point for 40 days. The body is weak. I ain't gonna hold it 40 days. I might need a sandwich. 40 days is crazy. Um, body, when it comes to fasting, it does different things. It does different things, right? Like doing this, the body can experience, severe headaches, fatigue, hunger, dehydration, poor concentration, right? But when you have fed your spirit through fasting and prayer, you can't forget the prayer part of it. It's prayer and fasting. You feel me? You're not just going hungry. Like, I'm putting emphasis behind when I'm fasting, right? So with the prayer and fasting, and you're feeding your spirit, then the side effects become connection with the Father, power of the Holy Spirit, the full power, really. Oneness with the Father, hearing proper instruction, prayers get answered, you get to quoting scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Mountains get moved, your valleys go up, and your visions get clear, Like that's the type of thing that, I'm aiming for in these moments. So this is just a reminder, and even talking, a reminder to me, that's how I kind of look at a lot of this stuff is, my work is, me getting through the different things that I'm going through in life, and hopefully it'll help some other people along the way. But making sure that spiritual connection is there is just a really big part of it for me. And I may stumble. I'm not perfect. I'm going to stumble because I'm not perfect. But that doesn't mean I stopped the pursuit of him. And that's the biggest part, right? Like, yeah, in the film, character stumbled. We kept going. Get to him as quick as possible. And I hope this made some type of sense, brought some clarity to those portions of the film. I know there was, some people I was talking to asked some certain questions about that. And so, hopefully this makes more sense. And there's plenty more to break down within this one film within itself. If y'all want me to go back and talk about the parts that I did previously, but just like in a different format, if y'all want me to do that in this format, I ain't got a problem with that. But yeah, we got some other stuff to tap into with this project. And yes, we'll be having the faith-based music to drop with each of these. Hopefully we can get it to drop with each one of them. But we'll see. Try to do as much as we can on the music side of things. This thing is a good way to kind of, bring everything, put a little bow on it. You know what I mean? So be on the lookout for that. But I greatly appreciate y'all for tapping in, joining me here in the garden. Till next time, you heard? I holla.
And 3 prostitutes I met. Chipmunk come is when where's lies. I stumble too. Camera breath, shadows drag the street.